नमस्कार, जय जिनेन्द्र, जय श्री कृष्ण। स्वागत, जय भारत। दिवालिया एक व्यक्तित्व के साप्ताहिक प्रोग्राम में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है दोस्तों। मैं हूं आपका मेजबान किशोर जैन फ्रॉम यूके। हम इस प्रोग्राम के हर सप्ताह एक नया टॉपिक लेकर आपकी सेवा में हाजिर होते हैं, जिसमें धार्मिक, सभ्यचारक, सामाजिक, हेल्थ टॉपिक्स, जीवन शैली पर आधारित या फिर ऑनगोइंग इश्यूज पर चर्चा हेतु हम उन बुद्धिजीवियों को आमंत्रित करते हैं जो अपना कीमती समय निकालकर अनमोल विचार गोष्ठी में शामिल होते हैं। अगर ऐसा कोई व्यक्तित्व, ऐसी कोई पर्सनैलिटी आपके पास, आपकी नज़र में भी हो, जिससे आप चाहते हो कि हम उनको आपके साथ रूबरू कराएँ, तो कृपया हमें ज़रूर सूचना दीजिए। ऐसे साक्षात को, ऐसे आपकी प्रतिभा भावन को, ऐसे व्यक्तित्व को हम आपके बीच लाना चाहेंगे और उनके अनमोल विचार आपके साथ साझा करना चाहेंगे। इसके साथ-साथ हम आभारी हैं हमारे आयोजक श्रीमती व्यंजना आनंद मिथ्या जी, संयोजक श्रीमती मंजरी निधि गुल जी, सह संयोजक श्रीमती सुशीला फरमानिया जी और मीडिया कोऑर्डिनेटर श्रीमती सुनीता सिंह सरोवर जी, जिनकी कड़ी मेहनत के कारण इस कार्यक्रम की रूपरेखा जो है वो निष्काम भावना से पूर्ण होती है। और अगर पहली बार आपने ज्वाइन किया है, प्लीज क्लिक ऑन द सब्सक्राइब बटन सो यू कैन गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन एवरी वीक। जो भी यहाँ पर हमारे काम हो रहे हैं, जो भी हम आपके साथ सूचना रूबरू कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में आपको पता चलता रहे। और देखिए, भारत एक अनूठी संस्कृति सभ्यता के लिए पहचाना जाता है। कहते हैं कि हम उस देश के वासी हैं, देश देश में गंगा रहती है। भारत एक ऐसा देश जिसने ज़ीरो दिया मेरे भारत ने, मेरे भारत ने, मेरे भारत ने। हम भारतीयों की खासियत है कि अपने पर किए उपकार को सदैव याद रखते हैं, साथ ही जल की तरह पवित्र होते हैं और जहाँ जाते हैं उसके अनुसार हम हिल-मिल जाते हैं, अपना अनुभव शेयर करते हैं और बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं। जहाँ रहते हैं उस जगह की, उस धरती की कीमत ज़रूर चुका देते हैं और फिर अपने कार्य करते-करते एक अनमोल रत्न बनकर सारे विश्व में चमकने की शक्ति भी रखते हैं। ये खासियत हम भारतीयों में। आई एम प्राउड टू बी इंडियन। ईश्वर की कृपा जिस पर होती है, गुरुओं की कृपा जिस पर होती है, वो पत्थर से भी हीरा बन जाता है। इस बात का प्रमाण हमारे सामने आज के मेहमान, आज आदरणीय भारतीय अमेरिकी लेखक हैं, अर्थशास्त्री हैं और साउथ मेथोडिस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर रहे हैं। आपकी बेस्ट सेलर किताबों में शामिल हुई बहुत सी किताबें, उनमें से एक ग्रेट डिप्रेशन ऑफ 1990, जिसको उन्होंने वित्तीय पूंजीवाद ज्यादा प्रजनन करता है, इस विषय पर भी ये किताब आधारित है। आप आपके कार्यों में एक वितरण प्रणाली, जिसे प्रगतिशील उपयोगिता सिद्धांत के अर्थात प्राउड के रूप में भी जाना जाता है। यह सिद्धांत भौतिक कल्याण के साथ-साथ व्यक्ति के संपूर्ण व्यक्तित्व को, एक पूरी पर्सनैलिटी को निखारता है। आप अक्सर सीएनबीसी, एबीसी, सीएनएन आदि चैनल पर भी इनकी विचार गोष्ठी अक्सर देखी जा सकती है और हमारा सौभाग्य है कि आज ये हमारे बीच अपना कीमती समय लेकर आए हैं और उस समय का हम पूरा सदुपयोग करेंगे। पेन एंड पेपर ले लीजिए। अगर कोई भी क्वेश्चन आपके पास हो तो लिख लीजिए, बाद में इसके आंसर आपको जो है हमारे सिस्टम के माध्यम से आपको मिल जाएंगे। और इसके साथ-साथ एक बार फिर हम स्वागत करते हैं, मेरे कहने की मुराद जो किसी तारीफ या तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं है, डॉक्टर रविंद्र बत्रा। डॉक्टर साहब, हार्दिक स्वागत है दिवालिया एक व्यक्तित्व में। आपको बहुत-बहुत शुभकामनाएँ। ईयर का एंड हो गया है ऑलमोस्ट और नया साल आने वाला है और मेरा कह दूँ कि मैं चिराग वो कि बुझा हुआ मेरी शाम कैसे चमक गई। आपका आना हमारे लिए बहुत ही खुशकिस्मती की बात है। तो अ, आपकी जीवनी के बारे में हम कुछ बातचीत करेंगे, फिर आपका जो योगदान है ऑन इकोनॉमी साइड पे जो आपने बुक्स लिखी है, इसके सिनॉप्सिस भी कुछ ना कुछ आपसे शेयर करेंगे और संदेश भी लेंगे। और पहले ये बताइए कि आपका जन्म और एजुकेशन कहाँ पर हुई? ये अनमोल रत्न जो आज हमारे बीच बैठे हैं, तो कहाँ-कहाँ इन्होंने एजुकेशन की, इसके बारे में हमारे दर्शक बड़ी उत्सुकता से जानना चाहते हैं।
वेल, पहले पहले मैंने ऐसा इतनी ठीक हिंदी कहीं बोली।
जी
इंग्लिश बात करता हूँ, मगर ठीक हिंदी ऐसे नहीं बोल सकता जैसे आप बोलते हैं। आ, लेकिन मैं कोशिश करूंगा
जी।
कि हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में बात करें।
ओके,
तो
परफेक्टली फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम। सो
ओके, मेरा असली जन्म हुआ 16 अगस्त 1964, 16th of August 1964. That's the day I
राइट।
met Baba.
वाह।
That's the
ओके।
day I think of it as my birthday.
ओके।
Because, I was 21 years old at that time, and was searching for a spiritual guide. And somebody named Dada Amitanand, Dada Amit, taught me meditation in Delhi. But, and he said, meditate half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, and that will do it. So many would, I said to him, I'll try. So I went home, took my watch out, and began to meditate. And after I thought about an hour has passed, I opened my eyes and I saw that only 10 minutes had passed. And I said, wow, such poor concentration. Here I was thinking I've done wonders, and there's nothing like that. So I went to Dada next week. I said, please tell me something which I can, that's how I can improve my concentration. He said, I can't help you anymore. You just go see my guru. I said, oh, you have a guru too? I didn't know until then. He said, yes, go see my guru. He's visiting Lucknow. Lucknow में आ रहे हैं. So to cut the story short, that was the 15th of August, India's Independence Day, a day before, next
Yeah.
day, that was 15th of August.
Yeah.
So I went to, took a train, and the whole train was empty. 2 hours was still away for it to leave, and then I dozed off. As I opened my eyes, every part of the compartment was full. People had visited from nearby villages to Delhi because they were celebrating 15th of August. Oh my God. And two young boys were sitting on my leg, on my knees. And how do I spend 15 hours of journey next now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, uh, the journey was very eventful. Next day, on the 16th, around 12 o'clock, I went
Yeah.
to Baba's quarters. And I asked them, is your Baba? I asked some people who were gathered there, I asked them, is your Baba as great as Vivekanand? They laughed at me. I said, why are you laughing? Vivekanand was a great yogi, came to America, and I'm an admirer of him. They said, oh, our Baba is omniscient. I said, no, don't tell me anything rubbish. Nobody can be omniscient. So it was a lot of skepticism in my mind at the time. As they talk great thing about Baba, I talked something opposite. I said, I want to see something real.
Mm.
So the attendant put my name last on the
Okay.
list. He said, okay, you will be last. If Baba wants to see you, he will be you will be the last on the list. Because you have no faith in Baba. I said, I have to accept him first. How can I just take your word for it that he's such a person? Anyway, my turn came at around 5:30 p.m. I was the last on the list. So then the attendant said to me,
Yeah.
you know how to greet Baba, don't you? I said, no, I'll send him another scar to him. I said, no, he's your guru. I'm not accepting him yet. So he said, okay, go inside or do whatever you want to. So I entered a small little room and I was thinking of some sannyasi, brilliant
Yep.
face, brilliant aura,
Yep.
somebody, incredible personality. Here I find
Yep.
a
Mhm.
short, fat man sitting on a cot. I
Right.
said, is he Baba Anandamurti? This doesn't look like a yogi at all.
Uh-huh.
Baba asked me to sit down in front of him. First thing he asked me was, what's your name? I said,
Right.
why does he ask my name? He knows everything. Anyway, I told him, my name is Ravindra, and my friends call me Ravi. So Baba said, okay, Ravi. Then he closed his eyes for about a minute. He said, you have some questions in your mind, don't you? I said, of
Mhm.
course, question. He said, okay, fine, ask me. So the first thing I asked him was, why have you created another organization that also deals with spirituality or religion? There is no dearth
Mm.
of such organization. So why have you created another one? He said, I was a student of economics at that time. So
Yeah.
won't it be better
So at
if
that
you,
time you were in Delhi.
yeah, in Delhi School of Economics.
Yeah,
Uh,
Delhi School of Economics. Yeah, that's fine.
uh,
Yeah.
won't it be better if we did something for the poverty of our miserably poor people? He said,
Right.
peace of mind does not depend on who eats what or who does what. It's an
Mhm.
inner phenomena. People in people in America are very rich, but they're not happy. Then I said, okay,
Mhm.
my problem is that I can't. Okay, and then I said, all right, can you
Yeah.
guide me how I can
So
serve my country? How I
so what
can,
year you finish your education in Delhi, and what year you left for America?
well, I'm coming to that. Uh, he said, you will one day go to America. I said, what?
Oh, okay.
What? I will go to America? He said, yeah, one day you will go to America. and you will work for poverty of the world. Against your work will be against world poverty. And I said, I want to find God. I don't think I can find God in America. He said, no, you can find God anywhere in the world. Just have to non-stop meditation. And I said, okay, how do I build my personality if I have to go to America and remove world poverty?
Right.
He said, only thing you just have to do is surrender everything to God. These are his exact words. Let everything flow in the love of God. Everything else will be fine.
So prior to this prediction, or did you have any intention to leave India, or it was just a sudden
My
order
father
from master?
my father used to tell me that you should. My father was first wanted me to be an IAS officer. I said,
Okay.
yeah. I said, okay, maybe whatever you decide. Then he said, okay, I think you should go to America. He wanted me to be like Vivekananda. And he visited America. You should go to America too. I said, no, I'll see anyway. So I said to Baba, how do I build myself? He said, let everything flow in the love of God. I said, but concentration. He said, I will give you concentration. Then he closed his eyes.
Amazing.
Until now, I was very skeptical. Baba closed his eyes and touched my forehead. Oh, I was lost. I said, what? I was lost. If there was a God, he was right there. I didn't have to visit
Exactly. Yeah.
him. He said, go, my
So at
child.
that point, you surrender. Yes. If that is the law of Lord,
Exactly.
you
I
got no
said,
choice. You have to surrender and follow whatever the destiny is. It's
so he said,
wonderful. It's wonderful.
go,
So
my
did you
child.
finish your master's in Delhi?
Yes, I finished it.
Right. You finished your master's in Delhi.
Right.
Prior to that, you were in Punjab University and
I was in
Delhi,
Punjab
everything
University
was Delhi.
studying, but Delhi school was the first place outside Punjab I went to.
Okay.
So Baba asked me, do only one thing from now on: economics and God, spirituality, nothing else.
Right. Right.
And so I surrendered myself, prostrated before him at that time.
Yeah.
And then I forgot that Baba also had a lecture that day. When I came out of Baba's room, he asked me, the attendant
Yeah.
asked me, is there anything you found? I said, I don't know what it is, but it is very, very blissful. And that was the 16th of August, 1964, when I was reborn. Remember that?
But
16th of August.
okay, you are younger than me then. That's it. I can't say more than that.
Okay. So
So,
I came
so
to,
I can't say. I wanted to, first I was a little conscious of how to address you, Dr. Batra or Ravi, like Baba called you Ravi from Ravindra. And then obviously you made it more easy for me to talk that yes, born in 64, now I can manage to communicate better. So coming to uh, economics subject, did you have this in uh, your, you know, vision prior to going into this, or law or economics, or were you inspired by someone?
Well, I was searching for a spiritual guide for sure. And the reason is not because I was spiritual myself. The problem was, I don't know if I should reveal it now, but see, I'm writing a book now called The Joy of Innocence. The
Joy of?
Joy, the Joy of Innocence.
Okay.
And in this book, I have detailed why I turned to spirituality. And the reason is not that I was a spiritual person. The reason was my girlfriend, of all the people, she had left me. And then I started turning towards God. When she left me and I was torn myself, I started turning towards God. And I read Gita every day, day after day. And one day I decided to test Krishna, Lord Krishna. I said to Lord Krishna, you say that you come to accept a devotee if he offers you anything, accept your gift.
Right.
Then I said, I'm trying to offer you myself. I'll offer you my life. Let's see if you come and take it.
Okay.
So nothing happened that day. But then on the 16th of August, something happened. I met my spiritual guide.
Right. Okay.
So 2 years passed, and I meditated quite hard. I used to meditate 3 hours a day while I was in India. And all this meditation created incredible headaches, even though I was new. And here I'm meditating so hard. So I left Anandmarg because my headaches were so bad, migraines. I said, what do I do now? Then I had first division in economics. I said, maybe I should go abroad and study there. I can't meditate anymore in this atmosphere. So I applied to Yale University, Illinois University first. They gave me admission, but no scholarship, and I was not rich enough to study on my own. So I finally applied to a very small school, Southern Illinois University. They gave me assistantship and all that. And I went to.
In those days, coming to having a career ahead, there was a, tradition of coming to UK rather than America or any other country. So, did you do any research about UK at that time? USA, sorry, or you just picked up a
Well,
university and say, okay,
I had tried so many. I started late to begin with.
uh-huh.
In April, I started applying, and that was the only place which had any scholarship left. SIU, Carbondale, Illinois. And so 2 years after I met Baba, I was off to America. Baba had prophesied, you will go to America. And here I was off to America 2 years after. The prophet made this prophecy.
Yeah.
Okay. I had forgotten about the war, everything at that time. I concentrated on economics. And in September, I arrived in Carbondale, September 1966. And here I find so much. In America, I find so much garbage, so much filth. How can I always maintain my sanity in this kind of atmosphere? Boys and girls everywhere meeting with each other, kissing each other,
Oh,
mountain of temptation. I better start meditating again because this is the only way I can maintain my sanity. So in the first week, first week after I came to Carbondale, I started meditation again. But somehow I can't just do something at a small scale. I said, I'll first meditate 1 hour a day. 2 weeks later, I started to meditate 2 hours a day. 3 weeks, 3 hours a day. Finally, they became so much insanity. 6 hours a day, I meditate.
amazing.
6 hours a
Yeah,
day.
I'm coming to that's right. I'm coming to your academic side of it, which is a lot of question. I'm curious about your books as well. But just I'm glad to see Dada uh, Advay Advayananda ji also joined in. Uh, welcome you, sir. Namaskar. Please अपना mic on कर लीजिए. We welcome. When you guys met uh, on this path, basically for Anand Marg, दादा आप अपना mic please put your mic on.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
this is okay. Namaskar.
that's right.
Okay.
Namaskar.
Mhm.
So when did you join Anand Marg and when you met Dr. Batra?
Well, as everything, there is a cosmic reason.
Oh,
I will let Ravi
okay.
explain, but I met when I was a student in Malaysia, and I was supposed to be assigned to South America, but Baba changed it last minute to Dallas region. He knows why. So I had to do something with Raviji, I'm sure. And that's all I'll say. This is Ravi's interview, so we'll let him speak. Ravi and I have known each other a long time.
Really, I'm really delighted you been a really good source to communicate between us to get to Dr. Batra's connection and everything. So really, thank you very much for helping us out. So it's
Anytime.
wonderful. So coming to Dr. Batra, how hard was it at that time to stay up to date with the you know economic trends and developments? Because in today's date, you just uh, straight away put Google on and you get anywhere and everywhere with the Google, unless something is restricted for any reason, but you can find the information. But on those days when you started all this, finding even a first step towards a career and your total expertise, uh, how difficult was it? How did you
Well,
manage to stay up to date?
first of all, I will come back to Dada Advayanand later and
Okay.
show how he helped me a lot later in life.
Uh-huh.
To cut the story short, I have all these events in my new book, The Joy of Innocence, a personal testament. That's the story. A personal testament. It's a personal experience. So I'm surprised saying that I was meditating 6 hours a day and not paying any attention to studies. How do I do? Am I here to do PhD in meditation or in economics? That's the big question I had. So to cut the whole story, so many experiences I had at that time. And remember, I had forgotten Baba by that time. But I started his way of meditation a long time ago. So after what experience? Okay. 1 year I spent in doing my master's. Those people, they did not trust Delhi school. They said, you have to do master's for a year. So from 1966 to 1967. But then there was so much work to do. Assistantship was teaching a professor, so assisting a professor in teaching students. So I said, God, look, when do I find time to really meditate? Okay. So all the stories that happened from now on, from 1967 on, are because of this quest for God. All right. In next 2 months, September 67, I got a thought from inside, go take your comprehensives right away. What? Go take my comprehensives right away? It takes 2 months, 2 years to clear them for most people.
Yeah, how old were you at that time?
I was 27. No, 27,
30.
I think, something like that. And Baba's, the voice said inside, go ahead, take it. I'm with you. Okay, next day I went to the chairman. I said, what does it take to take the comprehensives in 2 months? And the chairman said, you are insane. Insane. Don't even think about it. To cut the story short, I went ahead and take it, and 2 months my comprehensives were cleared. Then, within that time, I was preparing for the comprehensives. I wrote a dissertation, 100-page dissertation, and I asked the professor if you would like to look at it. He says, are you insane? You have not even cleared your comps, and you have not your accepted topic, and you have said you have already written your dissertation. I said, well, if you don't like it, I'll write another one. He looked at it and said, okay, fine. I will take it. I'll accept it as a dissertation. So that was also done within those 2 months. Then you had to pass a French test. Then the French test normally took a year. Some events happened. I cleared my French test in 10 days. So students were just going crazy. My students, fellow students, hey, Sue, you've cleared everything required for PhD in 2 months? I said, don't ask me how.
Do we call this as a luck, or your work spoke for itself?
Well, this is the
Or
story.
blessings?
This is the story I have in my book. Whether it's luck or not, this is what happened. And the reason why it happened is this now. I had prayed to God, please give me time when I have nothing else to do except meditate on you. And when I cleared everything, I went to the chairperson, I said, okay. And he said, now you have done everything, go, you should look for a job. I said, I'm not interested in job. I will do further research. Please let me live on the fellowship you have assigned me, given me. They had changed my stipend from assistantship to fellowship, so I had no work requirement. He said, okay, you are a philosopher, I can't guide with you. You go do your whatever you want to do. So after this, I had 2 years left to do nothing else but meditation. And that was my prayer to God.
Amazing.
So I meditated like anything, 10 hours a day, after 10 hours a day. God, God, and God. Nothing else mattered at that time. So another year passed. I began to miss Baba again. How can you stay away from him for so long?
Yeah.
When you meditate so much, I began to miss him. And then I was meditated one day in Carbondale, and I got a dream from Baba. Come, my child, come. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Really experience what you're telling me, your startup time and achieving your head of department in the age of 30 as per our information. And that is especially, in a Western country, you got there age of 30, you were just selected as a head of department, uh, completely winning the, first goal in such a big, position itself is a pride and blissful blessings from Baba and all this. Coming to this a little bit of economic side, say history reveals that the rich feudal lords, warrior class of around 1750, never realized when they were overtaken and replaced by the neo-capitalists, leading the industrialization. On that time, communism also took root by middle of 19th century, 1848. The Soviet Union collapsed by 1990. You are on record that capitalism and communism uh, are bound to fail in the long run. Around the start of 21st century, 20% of people control 80% of the resource wealth. So can you please explain a
Yeah,
little bit on?
well, this is about my work life now. I came to Southern Methodist University and joined the department. And by about 1973, I was doing some economics research also, as Baba told me. Now you have to work on poverty, and meditation alone is not enough. So I started doing work on economics as well. So by the age 30, I became full professor with tenure. So I saw, okay, I have no more worry about being fired from a department if I write something controversial. So the first thing I wanted to do was write about Baba's ideas of drought. And I started work on that. So after I became full professor, a journal did some research, and he said, this Dr. Batra, I don't know who he is. He's a non-Western economist, but he is number 3 in the world. The first was at Harvard, the second one was at Stanford, and he put my name as number 3. So when they put that thing in my resume, when I could put that in resume, I said, oh, I'm now free to do work on Baba's ideas. So the first thing I read was Baba's book on social cycle. It's strange. I wanted to really work on drought, but I studied the theory of social cycle. In 1976, I approached Mr. Farmilo. He was an editor of economics in UK. And I said in my letter to him, would you publish a book on history from an economist? He had already published 2 of my books. So I sent him various ideas of Baba's law of social cycle. He accepted the proposal. And I now had to write the book whenever I could finish. But I wanted to finish it. I don't want to linger on. I want to do meditation and work at the same time. And so I said, let me finish this book quickly and then I'll go back to meditation again. So by end of 1978, 77, I finished the book and called it The Downfall of Capitalism and Communism, based on Baba's theory of history, theory of social cycle. And my first forecast was that by the end of 2000 or 2010, both capitalism and communism would be gone. This is what Baba's theory of social cycle says. Because nothing is permanent in this world, and societies also come and go. And then, so then I changed my forecast about communism. I said, no, it will fall in, by 1990, it would fall. Rather than wait for 2000, it should fall by 1990. And the reason I based was invaded Iran, Afghanistan. And I said that will hasten their demise. So I wrote again another small short book on Muslim civilization. And in that I wrote the Soviet Union should be gone by the year 1990. Maybe another give or take another 5 years, another maybe 5 to 10 years, but it should be gone. And Baba came to Fiesh in 1979. And then talked about the fall of the Berlin Wall. He said, I was surprised. I said, what? The Berlin Wall is going to fall soon? He said to me, hey, why are you surprised? You have already written your book that the Soviet Union is going to collapse by the year 1990. So why are you surprised? I said, but I have not put the Berlin Wall there, that the two Germanys will also be united. He said, yeah, I'm telling you now, the two Germanys will be united. And he said that to me in 1979. And then we find that in 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. And Baba's, it was actually, whatever was, see, now it was very clear to me that whatever I was doing had the backing. I wasn't writing as an independent writer. I was a pen and he was holding my pen. So the Berlin Wall fell in 1979 and 1989. And at that time, the Prime Minister of Italy invited me to accept the medal of the Soviet Union for correctly predicting the fall of the Soviet Union. Medal of Italy for correctly predicting the fall of the Soviet Union. All right, so next then, after Baba was, Anandmarg was very people were behaving very badly with Anandamag and Baba in India. And I said, oh, I better write another book. Looks like nothing has happened from this book. His bad treatment, they have given him poison in the jail and everything. They kept him in jail. I should write something now on Baba's philosophy of economics. He has asked me to do something about poverty. So that's what I should concentrate on now.
Yeah. In your opinion, you've been awarded with your prediction from Italian Senate in the past, in 90s, I think that was. But now, economically, world will now move in which direction? The way things are going on.
Right now?
Yeah.
Right. Well, see, I had to revise after all these forecasts. Not easy to make, so I had to revise some forecasts. So I wrote another book in 2006 or 2007 called it The New Golden Age.
Which book was it?
New Golden Age.
I think I was going through a bit of collection through Kindle yesterday, but it's a large information to gather in, hours and things, especially now I will be more prepared about your collections.
You can just go to my website, ravibatra.com, and you'll find it's written. Greenspans Fraud, for instance, is another book I wrote. New Golden Age. Then How to Eliminate Poverty in the World. It came out in 2015. All these books are mentioned on that website, ravibatra.com.
So I'll join online on that one. Now, it's likely that 1% of population control 99% of wealth, leading to a rebellion. Is that correct? I mean, how?
The Great Depression of 1990.
I mean, we know there's a.
See, remember, I wrote a special chapter in this Joy of Innocence I'm writing now about the book, The Great Depression of 1990. Remember, Baba was being mistreated by the government of India. So I wrote a book with the title, The Great Depression of 1990, again on Baba's philosophy, to bring attention to the fact that he is being mistreated. And now this book had been self-published first. At that time, self-publication was incredibly difficult job. I published the book in 1985. At that time, some self-publication was not easy. So how do I publicize this book now? No bookstore accepts it. And economists rejected it. They don't like the title, Great Depression of 1990. Who is this guy who's telling us that a depression is going to start in 1990, starting with 80? I written in 1985. So by that time, I had become almost insane. I would fast a week at a time for the book. I said, I have to do something so that people know what government is doing to Baba. So I fasted for a week in 1983.
Right.
You can't fast while you're teaching, so in summer vacation, I fasted for a week. Then
Uh-huh.
a week later, I fasted again for a week. So this way I fasted for about 6 weeks over 2 summers. And that's when the book started moving by itself. That's the amazing part. Krishna says, this is Lord Krishna. Krishna says, if you do some sacrifice, then karma moves very fast. Karma started moving very fast. So this
Amazing.
6-week fasting made it move.
Right.
Within 6 months of the publication of my self-publication of my book, I had sold 8,000 copies. Just radio stations were called out of the blue and interviewed me. So, but still no publication, no real press was coming forward to publish my book. Then I tried to fast one more time. Okay, one more week fast. But by that time I had been incredibly weak. 6 days of fasting, I couldn't go any further. I said, forget it. No more self-denial. This is enough now. And after that experience.
What did they say? Basically ज्ञान के बारे में मैं हिंदी में थोड़ा बोला क्योंकि lot of listeners at the moment they are also demanding, बोलते कि दादा से बोलो हिंदी में भी थोड़ी सी बात करनी चाहिए। मैं ज्ञान जो है, ज्ञान जल से पतला ज्ञान, और इस अथाह सागर है, इसके बारे में जैसे कह रहे हो कि काफी कुछ जीवन में कर लिया, तो इट्स बेसिकली नेवर एंडिंग। आपसे अब बात कर रहा हूं तो मुझे लग रहा है कि कुछ और भी आने वाला है आपकी तरफ से। देयर इज स्टिल मोर टू कम। अभी द वर्ड हैज बीन बेसिकली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड प्राउड बाय अनंत मार्ग organization, obviously, but what's the definition of proud? What is it? I mean, anything for
well,
individual progression, or
I'll give you some predictions soon. This book was doing very well, and then suddenly Baba had made a forecast, told Margis in India that he was going to be famous pretty soon. I said, okay, that will be good, all my efforts are paid off. He will be known now. So in that book, I had mentioned that 1987 will be the first time when the stock market crashes again. And then the depression will start in 1990 or so. And lo and behold, on October 19th, the biggest crash ever occurred in the New York Stock Exchange in October 19, 1987. In one day, the market fell 22.5%. In one day, 22.5%. This kind of crash had never occurred in the history of the world.
It never happened here.
Even in 1929, it didn't happen. At that time, it fell 10%.
Okay.
But 22.5% in one day. Oh, right after that, my book became a #1 bestseller on New York Times. And here it was. That's why I have a special chapter on this book in the Joy of Innocence. From self-publication to the top of the New York Times list. How did it happen? Baba brought it about.
Yeah, it was mentioned that best-selling books. Well, most of them, your books are always having a golden thoughts in it with the prediction and everything. Very much, neatly analyzed. Uh, so, so tell me more uh, about this book with the, the way
Yeah.
you have uh,
So
given out to the readers.
uh, the thing is that Baba brought that crash about because nothing like that has ever happened. It can't be naturally done. Even after 1987 or before 1987, this kind of crash has never occurred in the history of New York Stock Exchange.
You reckon it's likely to come back again, something like this?
Well, so then what happened? Dada told Baba about the great success of my book, so much so that it's #1 bestseller now in America. Then Baba said to that Dada Shamit, behind Ravi is the play of the cosmic magician. You shouldn't be surprised. It's the cosmic magician who is helping him. And then Dada came and asked me, told me about Baba's remarks. And I said, well, Baba is sure right. Somebody who can get you done PhD in 2 months, pass a French test in 10 days. So do so much, give me so much help again and again. He has now also done, converted this book into #1 bestseller. Is there anything that spirituality cannot accomplish?
Right. I'm slightly confused about that time. Was it called like Black Wednesday, if I'm not wrong, when the stock market collapsed?
Oh no, stock market. Oh, it was on #1 list for no, it was on the list for 52 weeks.
Right.
I don't know if I have a big poster from New York Times. It shows on top of the list. I could show that to you now if you want, but
yeah, I seen in record. Yeah,
okay.
it's mentioned in
Right.
the observe. Yeah.
So now
so
I began to write about in that book. There was a chapter on Prout also. In that Great Depression of 1990, I mentioned that among Baba's reforms, he suggests adopt Prout, and that will end up in poverty around the world. So now about this poverty business, and that's the main impetus behind all the books I have about removing world poverty. I have this book, okay. There's no end to Baba's help to me. In 2013, I fell ill, very ill, in 2013.
13.
The doctor told me you have cancer. So I said, so what? I have cancer. People get cancer nowadays. They get better. So he
The
said,
message coming up from our listeners basically कि अपना एक्सपीरियंस कुछ हिंदी में भी दीजिए, पर एक क्वेश्चन मेरा अभी एक और बाकी है। मैं थोड़ा विलम्ब के लिए थोड़ा सा टाइम आपका और लूंगा। I'll take a little bit more time. The Prout definition, as we understand, progressive utilization theory. Now, by when can Prout will take root? What is a prediction on that? by when sprout will take root?
Okay. Well, for that I have to talk about another theory based on Baba's philosophy. From 19, if you look back, if you look at world events since 1929, every year which ends in number 9 gives you an idea of what's going to happen in the next decade. Like 1929, the Depression started. So it gave us the idea that all of 1929 would be a decade of depression. Year 9. Then 1939, what happened in 1939? The Second World War started. Again, number 9. Okay. Then the whole decade was based on the war.
Yeah.
Then let's see what happened in 1949. That's also number 9.
It was basically an exchange of after independence. It took a couple of years to clear a mess for the both countries.
1949, what happened?
Which led up to 1950.
Chinese Revolution occurred in 1949. China moved from the age of the wealthy to the age of warriors in 1949. Yeah. That's the Chinese, so that's another last year. Well, then you say, well, what happened in 1959?
59, sure. I was born.
Okay.
I can't say.
Well, that's
an event. That.
That's a
I was waiting for that. Honestly, I was waiting for that. I was born.
Cuban Revolution occurred in 1959, and then that guided the whole Cold War for the rest of the next decade. What happened in 1969?
69.
A great inflation began in 1959. That then guided the world in the 1970s. Well, then you say, what happened in 1979?
79.
The Iranian Revolution occurred in 1979. And then I had actually made that prediction that Iran would face a revolution in the middle of 1979, and the priest will come back to power. And the priesthood did come back to power in 1979. Okay, what happened in 1989? Well, the Berlin Wall fell in 19. What happened in 1999? For the first time ever, Bill Clinton was impeached. American impeachment, first ever impeachment occurred. And then he was also, he was impeached and then acquitted. Anyway, that was 1999. What happened in 2009?
2009.
Well, Barack Obama, a black man, elected president in America first time. That was earth-shaking event at that time. So,
2019.
What happened in 2019? I had written in my book in the New Golden Age that before capitalism falls, some kind of plague could occur, and that would bring about the fall of capitalism. And that plague has occurred in the form of coronavirus.
Yeah, followed in 2020. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Every country in the world. So, and it happened in 2009.
It was existing in 2019 already in China. 2019 October it was disclosed, but not openly. But by 2020 it was all over the world.
Exactly. So I wrote in the book that by 2019, some kind of plague would happen in the world, and this COVID-19 is the answer for that. So now you're asking me what's next to come. So we should look for the end of this decade, number 9, 2029 is the year something earth-shaking will happen, and most likely Prout will be established by that time.
Right. So this is what, oh my God, what shall I say? It's amazing. Now, the, what is the most worrisome problem the world is likely to face? Is there
Really?
anything you can
Say it again, please.
What is the most worrisome, the biggest pressure in upcoming future the world is most likely to face? I mean, uh, in my opinion, as just a normal person, uh, I would say I wish if there's a bartering system comes back, that let us do favor to each other and pray, meditate, and things, and you do this job for me, I'll do this job for you. No money, nothing involved. That's it. World should live in peace. But it's not stopping. It's not getting anywhere. What's the
Well,
more
see this we don't preach
the rich are
disengaging.
getting richer?
We preach we have to meditate towards our own Atma, as you said yourself, Atma Mokshartam Jagat Hitaya. Atma Mokshartam Jagat Hitaya. That's our goal. We don't disengage.
Okay.
So these problems that we have right now, problem of inflation, poverty, and incredible filth, violence, wars, all these will slowly and slowly be solved by the year 2029. And after that, there is the new golden age. Proudest golden age will be established by the end of 2029. That's whatever little knowledge I have, that's what tells me that 2029 is the last year of bad poverty and bad problems.
Right. Now, questions are coming in mind one after another. You're called as a prophet of doom. Now, give us uh, some, uh, you know,
The
feedback on that. I mean,
people called me
I
prophet
mean,
of doom when I wrote The Great Depression of 1990. But they didn't understand that I was talking about Prout in the end, and that will be a prophet of hope. Prout is the only hope for humanity. Homelessness, abject poverty, all sorts of wars, all these things will become basically outdated for a very long time. Not just wars come and go away and then start again. But not this. This time, a spiritual wave will be so created that people will turn towards God and we lead basically a spiritual lifestyle. Nowadays, we have billionaires creating poverty all over the world. You don't have to name anybody who the billionaire is, but we know what they're doing. They're creating budget deficits all over the world. What's the purpose of these budget deficits? The budget deficits create artificial demand. So that people can buy the goods supplied by monopoly capitalists. That's what it is. Why do we have budget deficits? People don't have enough demand themselves. They don't have money to buy. So the people, governments just create budget deficits, and that creates demand, and goods supplied by monopoly capitalists are sold. Crowd is also the theory that will solve the problem of so-called climate change. Climate is very awful right now, but the solution is incredibly simple. First, outlaw free trade. Free trade is the biggest polluter in the world. How come? How come free trade is the biggest polluter in the world? Well, look at it this way. China imports raw materials from all over the world, converts those raw materials into final goods, then exports them to the whole world. Two-way transportation for no reason. If China were to suppose invest in UK economy or American economy to participate in American economy, then all that they have to do is the raw materials are here, just bring some money in it. Do foreign investment. So foreign investment makes sense, but not free for foreign trade. Free foreign investment, but not free foreign trade. That's what Proud believes in. Because it creates unnecessary pollution. This pollution is unnecessary. It's not doing anybody any good. People say, well, it lowers cost of living, it creates lower prices for consumers. That's a myth. Why is it a myth? If you look at the economic history of the world economics, look at history, you will find that tariffs, the countries used to follow tariffs in the past, and there was no income tax, by the way. When the tariff was a source of government revenue, what's the use of income tax then? So they then created income tax so that tariffs could be. So income tax now has a place of the tariff. So how does free trade help the consumer? Instead of the consumer has to pay the income tax. And this is how it helps the consumer. How does it help the consumer? The consumer is paying the income tax, which they didn't have when tariffs were there. So these problems of pollution will be solved very quickly. You know how much the seas are polluted. All these plastics, all this
very bad.
Atmosphere, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all these are the result of misuse of oil. And once we have cut down on free trade, oil consumption will fall at least in half. And that's a big source of pollution. So Baba's ideas are very clear. And
great to have you on our program today. Finally, for the young generation out there, uh, any message of your golden thoughts? Please feel free to.
well, the message maybe people might say it's my self-interest. No, the message is not self-interest. I'm writing a book now, The Joy of Innocence, a personal testament. When people read this book, they will know what brings the joy. The real joy comes when a person develops a mind which does not bug him. That's the real joy. It's our mind which bugs us all the time, and that bugging creates dissatisfaction and discontentment. So if you develop a mind with the help of spiritual practices, which does not bug you, then you have the joy of innocence.
Right.
That's my message.
Wonderful. Really feeling blessed. I'm really delighted. And I conclude this of our talk uh, on this note. Uh, it will be in Hindi for our listeners, but I'll explain as we go along. कहते हैं दृष्टि बदलो यह सामान्य चिंतन है. The change the direction is just a common thought in our life. इससे जुड़ा हुआ चिंतन है दिशा बदलो, दृष्टि बदलो और दिशा बदलो. दृष्टि बदलो, सृष्टि बदलेगी. So this is a common thought we have. केवल दृष्टि परिवर्तन और केवल दिशा परिवर्तन दोनों अधूरे हैं. You have just one thought that I have changed the direction, I'll be okay. No, you have to change the direction into the right direction. Then it will be complete of your journey. It will complete. पूर्णता के लिए आवश्यक है कि दृष्टि और दिशा दोनों बदले. हम एकांगी सत्य में बहुत विश्वास करते हैं, किंतु अनेक सत्यों का समन्वय के बिना सच्चाई का जो पूरा चित्र है वो नहीं हो सकता. We think about one direction means एकांतवाद. So one direction is always dicey. It's not complete. You have to concentrate on all the truths, collect them and make it work. That is the only best way in our life. Like Dr. Batra has given his vision and version of his finding. My Still I'm surprised in early days when he started uh, his career. Uh, on those days, collecting the information was a big task. Uh, from different countries, from different areas, from different people. It was not just a touch button and find the information. It was not like that. So his hard work speaks for itself. So we are feeling honored for Dr. Batra to come to our uh, show. It's really brilliant. And thank you very much, Dada, uh, for putting this thing together. We highly appreciate. So any message from you, Dada? Anything you want to say?
Just that whatever Dr. Batra and you have said, that the basis of all is our connection to the God or the Supreme. That's it. That should be the basis of our life, and everything will follow.
Okay.
And for the young
Thank you very
people,
much.
I would say to the young people, whole future is ahead of you, and spiritual life is the basis of everything, and action in the world,
And one thing,
action,
yeah,
service.
one thing I learned today, Dr. Batra is younger than me. So uh, that is, he already mentioned that he was born in 64. So remain young, sir. We need more from you. So that's what my last wish will be. And really appreciate your time. It's been very valuable for us. Thank you very much once again.
So
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. तो दोस्तों ये थी आज की हमारी गोल्डन मोमेंट्स विद डॉक्टर बत्रा एंड कहते हैं कि दिशा बदलो दिशा बदलेगी, दैट्स वन मैसेज एंड कीप इट अप। नेक्स्ट वीक सेम टाइम सेम चैनल एक बार फिर आपसे मुलाकात होगी। धन्यवाद। लुक आफ्टर योरसेल्फ, गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल, थैंक यू, जय भारत।
Wow.
Thank you.